is, how can we remember that we are the orchestra and not just the instrument? What is some practical things that we can do to stay in that remembrance? Because for me, that seems to be that's the challenge, is to stay in the remembrance of this.
One of the things that you would be of the realizing, Miss Eleni, is that when of the violin is playing of the violin, it is not fighting against the rest of the orchestra. It is understanding that it is of the individual, but it is also of the collective, and that it cannot just be of the individual without playing with of the collective. That you are much of the excitement, much of the urgency to be of the individual, to be recognized as of the violin, to making sure that I have found my instrument and I am of the violin, and I am much of the proudness of the violin. And it is okay to be of the proudness of your violin, but not at the expense of not being able to play with of the orchestra.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Galactic Guidance. And here we are with Marcus Bird. Hello, Marcus.
Hey, Eleni. How are you?
I'm so good and so excited.
Excellent. Yes.
I'm excited to hear what Ameed has to say today. So I'm not coming in with any questions. I'm just open to receiving the messages as they come through.
Yeah. Let's see what message comes through. I have no idea.
Let's see. Awesome. Just let it be. So Marcus channels a high dimensional being called Ameed.
I do.
And now, when you're ready to go into your state,
I'll just do my thing and you chat away or whatever. And
okay.
I'll see you on the other side.
See you on the other side. So Marcus is now connecting into a high dimensional being called Ameed from the Lyra Star System, and he will channel through whatever message needs to come through. And the very interesting story of how Marcus started to connect to Ameed some 30 years ago is discussed in episode 1 of this podcast. So go back to listen to that. And in the meantime, just sit down. If you can, close your eyes, because you will feel a different energy come through. And let's just see what Ameed has to say. And then I'm going to be interviewing Ameed to see. I don't know if interview is the right word. I'll be asking further questions to Ameed depending on the issue that comes through, or the guidance, the galactic guidance that comes through.
It is much of the joyness that we are being in this of the moment, Miss Eleni. We are much of the enjoyment when we are becoming of the togetherness. This is one of the things that we wish to be sharing with you in this moment of the todayness. But much of the nice and much of the joyness to be here in this moment with you, Miss Eleni.
It's much of the joyness for me too. I mean, I love our conversations and our chats. And my invitation to you today is, what do you believe that the people listening to this podcast really need to hear right now? Something that is relevant and practical to the way that we're navigating life.
This is part of the good of the question that you be speaking of, how you be of the navigating through of this life of the experience. We would be referring to it of the quantum experience, the interdimensional experience that you are being of the part of, that you are not fully of the understanding. You are being very much caught in of the physical matter existence of your reality, when there is a multi-dimensional universal experience that is unfolding there in the behindness. But we wish to be sharing today, we wish to be sharing the experience of our existence. We wish to be sharing a little more about how we are being of the interacting, how our species is of the existing. For we wish to be sharing this with you so that you can be experiencing this same of the reality. For what we have been saying in of the past, Miss Eleni, which you are of the awareness, is you are moving through multidimensional space and of the timeness. You are shifting into a next dimension of the reality. Some of you be referring this to a higher dimensional frequency, being in a 5D or a 6D or a 7D. We are very much like to be thinking of the expanded nature, the expansion nature of this reality, not necessarily of the hierarchiness, but of the expanded nature of this reality. This is one of the forms that we are being of the existing in, and what you might consider our community, our species, very much spending very much of their time living in of the harmonic nature of that collective experience. We are of the understanding that we are all much of the connectedness. We are all contributing to the harmonic frequency nature of our reality and of our experience. One of the things you are forgetting is that you are of the interconnected nature, and therefore you are influencing each other's experiences of the reality. One of the analogies that we've been talking about is of the orchestra, that you have many pieces of the instrument within of the orchestra, and liking of you, we are many pieces of the orchestra as well. We are individuals living in of the community scape, in of a similar nature to how you are of the existing, but we are of the existing in a more expanded multidimensional reality. And therefore, we can be of the knowledge and of the understanding and of the expanded experience of this deeper of the wisdom. You are thinking of this as the quantum. And we can be talking with you at your understanding level so that you can be of the practicality and be implementing these processes that we be of the sharing. But what you must be understanding is that you are just one of the instruments in an orchestra of the instruments. You are playing your beautiful of the instruments, but many times we see that you are desperately trying to play many of the instruments. You are trying to be more than just the oneness within your orchestra. You are trying to be many of the instruments. What you must be understanding is that you have come into this existence as one of the instruments. And your journey is to be finding of that instrument and then playing of that instrument. But what is more important, so that you can be of the understanding how our of the society is being of the workingness, is that we are much focused on all of the instruments playing of the same song. We are much focused on the harmonic nature of the resonant patterns that are being playing from all of the instruments. And we spend much of our time in of the harmonic nature of this experience. Whereas we'd be watching of you, and we are seeing that you are not spending of the time in the harmonic nature of these instruments, that you are all very much trying to play of your own song, when in actuality there is just of the one song, and this one song creating a harmonic, resonant reality. This will help you to be in of the harmony. This will help you not to be of the what we are seeing of the tension between of each of the individuals. There is much of the tension. And what you will be understanding is you are thinking of the light energy and of the dark energy. You must be understanding that of the light energy of a harmonic nature and of the dark energy of a disharmonic nature. And in this dimensional reality, you are much of the pullingness from one of the light energy to of the dark energy. And there is much of a stretching of this this light and of the dark energy forces. This is not the reality of expanded dimensional experiences. There is not just of the blackness and of the whiteness, but in this of the theme park experience that you have volunteered to journey in and of the through, you are experiencing these opposite ends of the blackness and of the lightness. This is so that you can be of the transition through this and be of the anchoring in of the wholeness of the reality scape. So we wish for you to be of the thinking that you are one of the instruments in an orchestra of the instruments, and that your focus is about of the harmonics, and be playing in the harmonic nature, so that the resonant frequencies can be of the creating of the beautiful of the songness. When you be understanding this, you can be coming together and to bring of the harmony to all of your species across all of your planetary dimensional nature. So we're wishing you to be of the understanding of this, because we are spending much time in this harmonic resonance state. We are existing in a much more broader frequency band than you are being of the existing in this moment. This is allowing us to be in of the communication. This is allowing us to be here and be sharing with you and be passing on of the wisdom with you. But you are journeying into this expanded nature of the resonant frequency state. You are on the journey for this to be of the happening. So we wish for you to be in of the most harmonic nature that you can possibly be in. And you must be realizing that your body is like of this orchestra as well, and that you have many of the frequencies playing, many of the instruments playing, and for you to be of the healthiness, you need to be having of the instruments playing in a harmonic frequency nature. This is then creating of what you are calling of the healthiness. This is what you be calling and be saying that you'll be feeling of the goodness. When all of your instruments are playing in a harmonic resonant frequency nature, you are being much more of the happiness. You'll be much more of the healthiness. When you are doing this as the collective, then you will be much more in harmony, and therefore much more happier and of the healthier as a collective. This is going to then be able to help you to expand into the next dimension of the reality scape. While you are in of the disharmony, while you are of the disharmonic resonant frequencies, is much harder for you to be sharing and expanding into the next dimension of the reality scape. And we are being of the understanding that you are coming together in of the smaller groups to create this harmonic reality. This is the most of the importantness, is that you come together, and in of the togetherness you create of a harmonic resonant field. When you create of this harmonic resonant field, you then be sharing this harmonic resonant field out around of the planetary nature. This then be assisting others to be stepping into this harmonic resonant field nature. Once this is of the happening, then you will start of what you be calling of the dominoes, and one will then be of the tipping of the over, and the next will be tipping over, and the next will be of the tipping over, and then you will be stepping more collectively into this harmonic nature of the reality scape. This is how you will be shifting into the next dimension of the reality, when you'll be finding of the harmonic nature of the frequency reality. So we'd be asking you to be thinking of this experience, be thinking of the what you have is of the orchestra nature, that you are playing individual instruments together to create a harmonic. This harmonic you be experiencing as of the songness. But this is much of the reality that is evolving throughout of the universal construct. We are learning this many of the times ago. We are learning this, what you be considering in of the hardness way, like you be learning in of the hardness way. But we met this dynamic, harmonic resonant frequency reality, and we are getting this very much of the profoundness. This was allowing us to be of the acceleration of the expansion of the consciousness, the expansion of the realityness. This be of the allowing us to become of the master creators. And within this, we can be much more influencing, much more in of the controlness of our environmental experience. Once we are being of the achieving this, we can then be out of the sharing this knowledge and this of the wisdom in and to planetary constructs like the theme park that you are being of the experiencing in of the nowness. Does this of the making of the sense to you, Miss Eleni?
Yes, and not only does it make sense, I can feel the truth permeate through my body. And as you were speaking, I felt the truth of exactly what you were saying, that we keep forgetting that we are part of this orchestra. We keep thinking that we're this individual musical instrument, and it's so easy to forget. So my question is, how can we remember that we are the orchestra and not just the instrument? What is some practical things that we can do to stay in that remembrance? Because for me, that seems to be that's the challenge, is to stay in the remembrance of this.
One of the things that you would be of the realizing, Miss Eleni, is that when of the violin is playing of the violin, it is not fighting against the rest of the orchestra. It is understanding that it is of the individual, but it is also of the collective, and that it cannot just be of the individual without playing with of the collective. Because if it is playing on its by itself, then it is potentially going to be creating a disharmonic resonant frequency, because it is not playing with the wholeness of the orchestra. So you must be remembering that you are of the individual violin, but not to be pulling off the wayness from the orchestra just because you are wishing to be of the individual. We'll be seeing this many of the times in your experience, that you are much of the excitement, much of the urgency to be of the individual, to be recognized as of the violin, to making sure that I have found my instrument and I am of the violin, and I am much of the proudness of the violin. And it is okay to be of the proudness of your violin, but not at the expense of not being able to play with of the orchestra. No, not at the expense of missing of the notes, because you are not reading of the music. You are thinking, I am of the individual and I am much better of the violin than the rest of the orchestra. Rather than thinking, I am much of the proudness of a violin and I am much of the proudness of being part of the orchestra, and that we are playing of the song together, and it's not just my of the individual contribution, but it is all of the orchestra contributing to making of the beautifulness of the musicscape. This is what I must be of the remembering. And so I am playing, I am like I am playing by myself, but I'm also playing with everybody else. And I must remember not just to be watching on my music, but also be listening to the other music, and to be playing in of the harmony with the other music. It is much like, if you are thinking, Miss Eleni, of the practical nature of the example that we are giving. It's like when you are talking to your favorite one, to your what you call of your partner one. And that is much of the important, not to play separate music with of your partner. You must be playing of the same music, because you are like of the mini orchestra just with the two of you. You are much like a mini orchestra, and you must be thinking of the same sheet of the music and be playing of the same harmonic resonance of the music, even though you have of the individualness, even though you have other interests and other things that you are be liking. This is not about liking everything that each other person is of the liking, because violins play a separate resonant tune to of the trombone for of the exampleness. And therefore the trombone does liking being in the mountains, and the violin does a liking being at the beach. But you can be at the mountains and at the beach, and you can be playing together in different places and different spots. And sometimes it is like you're playing your music, and sometimes it's like you're playing their music. But as long as you are playing in the togetherness and you are creating a harmonic resonant frequency, the music is not such of the importantness. It is the harmonic resonance that is of the importantness. And we often see this of the internalness of the battlescape, that you are trying to be much of the individual, and you are trying to be much in of your violin nature. And sometimes you are playing so much in of your violin nature that you forget to be playing in the harmonics. And the resonant harmonics is when more than of the one of you are coming together to create of the beautifulness of the music. This is where the what you might consider of the power is existing, is when more than one of you come in being of the playingness. When two or more of you coming being of the playingness, you instantly then can be creating harmonic resonant fields. It's very much of the difficultness to create harmonic resonant fields being of the selfless. When you are coming together with more than one of you, you are creating much more powerfulness of the harmonic resonant frequency nature. This is going to be much of the allowing you to be in the expansion of the consciousness scape, be in the expansion of the dimensional scape, be in of the expansion of the universal scape. This is what we wish for you to be stepping into. This will be much of the reflection of our, what you might call, of the society and how we are being interacting in the togetherness. There is much more what you might consider of the telepathicness in our of the society, where we are just hearing each other's instrument. We are hearing the resonant frequency field someone is a being of the playing. And when we are being of the meeting and of the greeting each other, we be of the reflecting each other's resonant harmonic field. This then allows us to become in of the syncness. And therefore, when the music, when we are listening then to the music, we are playing of the songness. In your of the existence in this dimensional reality that you are being finding yourself in this of the theme park, when you be meeting each other, you be playing your own of the song. And you'd be quite proudly going, hello, Miss Eleni, I am this of the song. And then you, Miss Eleni, go, oh, I'm proudly this of the song. When we are being meeting each other, I am tuning into of your song, and I am reflecting the resonant frequency of your song in an acknowledgement that I am much of the getting you, and I am much of the understanding you. And then you are playing my song. And in this together, we keep of the reminding each other just of the beautiful harmonics that we are existing in. And then once I acknowledge your of the frequency and you acknowledge my of the frequency, then we can come into harmonic resonance with each other and begin to play off the beautiful orchestra music that you are so loving in your experience of this dimensional reality. And if you are ever being of the wondering, why is it that you are being liking so much of the music? You are being playing of the music all of the time. What you must be understanding is the music is trying to be of the reminding you of this experience, of this of the message. This is what the music is trying to be of the reminding of you. Yes, Miss Eleni, this is what is much of importance.
Oh, wow, that was just so beautiful. So beautiful, Ameed. So beautiful. And what a beautiful analogy that I'm going to hold, which is in this moment, am I just seeing myself as just the instrument, or am I seeing myself part of the orchestra? So that was just a beautiful picture to hold, and very, very timely and relevant message for every person that's listening to this right now. So I'm in deep gratitude and appreciation for your guidance and for your for being the vehicle of this remembrance. So thank you so much.
Yes, Miss Eleni, this is much of the truth. This is of the remembrance. You already be holding of this resonant pattern within you. This is much of the understanding within you. This is much of the remembrance. We are much of the blessed and much of the joy, much of the love.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Wow.
Well, that
How
was
did you go? How did we go?
That was very touching for me. Very, very touching and very relevant. I came out of a girls' weekend away with my closest friends.
Okay. Yeah.
At Byron Bay. We go away a few times a year to different places, and
nice.
We just got really deep this time because it was raining the whole time.
Oh,
so
wow.
I facilitated some really deep discussions, and everybody was triggered at different points.
Wow.
Everybody was triggered at different points, and
it
was a very, very different energy. Everybody had growth, but everybody was triggered. And what Ameed was saying about that we need to see ourselves as part of the orchestra and not just as the individual instrument is the constant challenge, isn't it, Marcus? It's the constant challenge.
I think so. Yeah. I'm just trying to be with that, and it's a little bit the battle of the ego too, because the ego just wants to be the instrument, and I'm the best instrument. right? You're not as good as my instrument, even if we're both violins, right? I'm the better violin than you. And then that spiritual nature of we're all one, right? We are the orchestra. I'm just one violin of many that need to be in the orchestra, right? The orchestra can't have one violin or one trombone or an orchestra made up of multiple instruments that some look similar and some look different, and that's okay. But we definitely need to remember that sort of, I don't know, that's how beautiful music's made. It's not necessarily made by one instrument. It's made by a collection of instruments and all coming into a harmonic sort of nature or in harmony with each other.
Yeah, to me, it goes back to a central theme, and that's humility.
Yeah.
Like, to be humble enough to know that we are part of the orchestra and that every instrument is just as worthy as we want ourselves to be.
Yeah, and without it, then it gets disharmonic. Or you know when you listen to music that's really beautifully done and it's seamless. Do you know what I mean? You can't actually pick an instrument out necessarily. Like, it's sort of seamless. Yet when something's not fully seamless, even if it's out a tiny bit, you can tell. You just know. You feel it in your whole body. Hang on a minute, there's something. You might not be able to tell what it is, right? Because you might not be tuned to music like some people are, right? But you'll know that something's not quite. Like, there's something out here. I can't put my finger on it, but yeah. And I think part of our role is to be playing our instrument, but also, like, I mean, I haven't been part of an orchestra. I've been part of a band, right? And I know in a band, you're constantly focused on you playing the right notes, obviously, but you're also listening to the other instrument all in time, right? You can't just cut it out and go, I'm just going to play my guitar and I'm not thinking of anyone else. You've got to play your guitar and at the same time go, okay, am I in time with the drums and the bass guitar and the singer, and am I playing the notes at the right time? And so there's this, you're doing two things at the same time. You're being your instrument or playing your instrument, but you're also listening for what's going on outside you to make sure that you're together.
And how do you, Marcus, do that on a practical level?
One of the things I've seen happen a lot, which interferes with this, is our sort of, phone, social media sort of focus, where we get tunnel vision and we forget that there's an outside world. I see our kids do it, just blah, blah, blah. And I think, I try and like to start my day. I like to have time in the morning where I can just sit and be, and I play this game of here I am and here's the world. And so I spend time looking out at the world so I can expand my consciousness into this, but at the same time acknowledging that I am me. I'm Marcus, and I'm amazing and worthy and valid, and then trying to sort of connect out. And I tend to do it by firstly connecting with myself, then connecting with my family, right? So I go through one at a time. I go, okay. And I use gratitude to help. So I'll just acknowledge with gratitude, but then try and align in the harmonies with it and tune into each instrument in the house. So I'm, gratitude, grateful for Stephanie. And then I'll think about Stephanie's specialness, her instrument, maybe, right? And I'll just try and hear for her instrument. Then I'll go to the kids. Thank you so much for, Lucy, and tune in, Claudia, Brendan. And then I'll do my family, and then I'll start to keep expanding out. And so I'm doing two things. One is I'm using gratitude as a focal point. Second is I'm then thinking about them and what makes them unique. I don't do it for, I don't have to list what it is. I just have to tune into what I know about that person and what I know is special about that person, just for a minute. And that's me playing my instrument. So the gratitude is my instrument in a way, right? And then tuning into them by thinking about something amazing about them, something, I don't know, that is who they are, then helps me to connect into that song. And just the consciousness of doing that, I'm actually connecting everybody together just in that consciousness experience.
Just from that intention, you're doing that. That's beautiful.
Correct.
And in my case, where I was away this last weekend, I could have done that exercise with those girls.
Yeah.
Like tuning in every morning to the to the uniqueness of who they are.
Correct.
And then when they said something from a triggered state, because it was a highly emotive weekend, I could have received that differently.
Possibly in a more harmonic nature. And again, you don't have to. It's just tuning into their sort of frequency, their sound. And sometimes to help you, you can pick one thing. What do I love about that person? You know, what do I love about Eleni? So as I'm going through, because you're in it as well, because you're part of my world, and so and so I'm going, I'm so grateful Eleni's here. What's one thing that that I feel about Eleni, or what's that resonance that you give out? And you can name it, but it's not really nameable. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not really nameable, but to help when you're learning this, apart from just feeling in, because you can just go, I'm so grateful for Eleni, and then feel the energy of what I know about you. But maybe when you're starting, you can go, I just really love how generous Eleni is. Great, next person. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's obviously not you. You're not just generous. You're so many other things. But I think when you're starting this process, it can help to pick one thing from each person. But feeling into their energy is the key. So it's trying to listen to your instrument and go, what's the Eleni instrument? And feel that energy and go, that's I love that about Eleni. Even if you can't name it, it's just like, yes, just love that about Eleni. Or Stephanie, or you know what I mean? Like whoever it is, John or Peter.
Whoever's in your world.
Whoever's in your life. That's right. And you don't have to go through every person. You just do one day and one the next, or a couple of people, or but you get really quite quick with it because you're just tapping into the energy of the person, not necessarily anything specific, right? So once you've done this a few times, I find now I can go through it very quickly. So in half an hour, I can get through pretty much everyone in my world because I'm only stopping for a minute. I'm just so grateful for Stephanie. That's who Stephanie is, type of thing. I'm grateful for Lucy. I'm grateful for this. And so it doesn't then take long.
That's beautiful, Marcus. That's a really beautiful exercise that we can all do.
Yeah.
I start the day with intention, and I'm going to add this to my morning routine because I really love it. I really love, that you start the day by connecting with everybody.
Yeah. I've got a little process that has the acronym GAIA, and I run through this GAIA process before I then drop in with Ameed and get downloads and do all the other things that I do. And it starts with gratitude and then alignment. So GAIA, G-A, gratitude, alignment. That's exactly what I just shared. So firstly, it's, I'm so grateful Eleni's in my world. The alignment piece is, feel the energy of Eleni, right? Then the next I, after I've done that with people, is insight. What do I need to receive today, or what's my intention today? So I for insight or intention. And then the A at the end is action. So based on that connection, what do I need to do today? Is there anything I need to know? And that's when I'll often connect in with Ameed and say, okay, what do I need to know today, Ameed? What do I need, what do I need to do today? Give me, and that's when I'll go into that. So I sort of start off with that little GAIA process.
I love it.
Which helps me remember the steps.
Gratitude, alignment. What was the
intention or insight, and then action.
And action.
Yeah. Because often we start with action. When we get up in the morning, it's like, God, got to get my breakfast, got to go that, got to, But it's kind of nice to start firstly with gratitude, just let go of any action, then align with the people around you, right? That's that orchestra thing that you were talking about. Then it's either insight or intention, and then it's action based on all of those things. So then you're actually taking an action based on the energy of the orchestra, not just me, because I've got to get stuff done. I'm actually been connecting into the whole field. Therefore, whatever I do will be part of that. So my actions may change because of that, because, there's someone who needs me to call them, or do you know what I mean? Like I might tune into your energy and I go, that's weird. Eleni's energy is feeling really flat. That's funny. maybe what should I, then I go, so I've got alignment, then I go, okay, what's my intention, or what's the insight I need? Oh, the insight is Eleni's feeling a bit down today. What's the action? Give her a call. Okay, great, that's what I'll do. All right, so so as you're going through everyone, you'll get really attuned to who's great right now and are in that energy of themselves and who isn't. And when I get to someone who isn't, it sort of stops me and I go, oh, this is weird. Wonder what's going on. And then so then it guides your actions. Yeah.
I love that. It's interesting as you're talking. I'm reflecting on, that's how I used to be. I used to start with action, of course. I used to jump out of bed and
totally.
run.
Didn't we, Jill? Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely. but now I do start with actually intention. And recently, just the last few days, because I always go to bed with gratitude. Like I always, I'm grateful before I go to sleep. But now, the last few days, I've received the message that my ancestors were not happy that I wasn't grateful for them. And so now when I start my morning meditation, the first thing that I do is actually I sit in reverence just for a moment with the ancestors. Like the reason I'm here is because of them and because of the wars that they've fought, because of everything that they've believed that was close to them, that they've fought for me to be here. And to just be dismissive of who I am, so that I can get this mission done. This is what the energy was. They felt a bit like disregarded. And so now I'm including them in the thank you. Like, I'm so grateful for everything you've done. And now I'm going to take it a step further with what you've said with just the people that are in my life and especially the people I'm going to come across that day. Especially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's great. Yay.
It's beautiful. I love this. This has been a fabulous episode. I would recommend, guys, that you listen to this again because I was getting full body chills with when Ameed was talking. It was very profound in terms of the message that was shared today. So if you believe that somebody else needs to hear this message, please share this podcast.
It's a good one to share, I think.
We really need these kind of episodes to get out there. We've got myself, Marcus, and Ameed, who we all want the same purpose. We all want this orchestra to play together for the highest good of all. That's what we want. So please like, share, comment, and that would really help the algorithm of this podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Ciao.
Thank you for tuning in to Galactic Guidance. We hope that the messages that you receive from the higher realms have brought you clarity, insight, and comfort. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Remember to stay connected to your own inner guidance and trust the journey ahead.